What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are blessed, man. This is Corey Harris with the Transition, a real resource for coaches. And I've got one of my friends, my brother, who's out here doing amazing work in the basketball culture, in the basketball industry, Coach Rob Allen. He and I have worked side by side for the past year, but even longer, just in the same vicinity here in the state of Georgia. He's a real hoop head. He know the game, and he's developed a lot of players. Like, I'm telling you, this guys you're watching every night, you probably didn't even know Coach Rob that had his hands on them and then helped them get to that level that they're at. So, Rob, appreciate you jumping on with me, my brother. It's an honor to have you on the transition.
For sure, always, my brother. You know, we
Sir.
we 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 more than just friends. We brothers. So
Yes, sir.
you know, we got to know each other for a good little bit. But just as you said, this past summer, man, we actually got to get in the gym together, to build something, special, and build that bond between me and yourself. So, I don't call you my friend, I call you my brother. So,
That's
that's
right. That's right. You locked in. So, bro, tell the people a little bit about your origins, right? Bama boy, home and grown and raised. Everything has been different for you being from the South, of course, because we're not from the East Coast or the West Coast where basketball is a little more prevalent. Take
for
them
sure.
back to like when you first had the basketball put in your hands. Who were you as a player, as a young man before you got to this point that you're at now?
Just as you said, man, I don't care if I do an interview, podcast, whatever. First thing I'm gonna tell you, I'm from Selma, Alabama, born and raised. I love where I'm from. Um, it molded me into the person I am today. As everybody knows, Selma is one of the places for the civil rights movement. My parents, my grandparents, they got to see segregation, different
Mm,
things of that nature. So as I grew up, we learned the stories and different things. So, but it was a small city, and it still is to this day. Man, my dad was so I come from a basketball family.
okay.
Um, my dad and my uncle played. My dad was a it's funny. My dad was him and my uncle and my aunt. They weren't real privileged. They didn't have a lot of money and things, so my dad ended up having to be like the man. Him and my uncle, like, they had to be the man of the house. So they didn't have, the resources like I had, where I had somebody push me to, play basketball in high school, college. Like, my dad never played basketball in high school. He was a
Got you.
street ball legend.
Okay.
So on the streets, that's where, a lot of people got their, names and information from. So
Right,
they
right.
I don't know if my dad would be happy if I said this, but his nickname was May White. So his favorite player was JoJo White that played for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
So he took that persona onto the street. And
Mm,
uh, him, my uncle, they used to run the streets, like street ball, not totally run the
got you,
street.
got you, got you,
Street
got you,
ball.
got you.
So nobody could beat him, and I used to always hear stories, and he never, he always told me, yeah, I was this. So I go around the city, people like, yeah, man, your dad and Meg White, he was real good and different things of that nature. So my dad was the one that kind of put the ball in my hand.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so I started at 5 at the YMCA. Him with me and my cousins, my uncle's son, my uncle Kenny's son, little Kenny and AJ. So we played YMCA basketball. So I've been playing since I was 5. My cousin, his name was Doc Robinson. He was he came out the same year as Mike Bibby.
Okay.
He was the number one point guard in the country. So you had, on some services, Mike Bibby was one, he was one on the other.
Yeah.
But he was number one guard in the country. I got to see him develop from high school to college. So back then, and I know you know this too, it was like basketball was just so different to me back then,
Yeah.
because it wasn't social media, it wasn't YouTube. It
Right.
wasn't trainers.
Right.
None of that stuff. So, everything was word of mouth. Like, have you seen
Mhm.
this person? Have you seen this player play? So, as I was coming up in high school, I used to always be with them. I mean, like when I was younger, I used to always be with him. So I would see him. He went to the Nike All American camp because back then it was
Yep.
the ABCD and
ABCD,
Nike.
Nike. Yep.
So
Shoe company.
if you didn't get to them two,
That was it.
that was it. You wasn't one of the top players in the country. So he went to Nike, ended up being the number one point guard in the country. So he got to choose what school he wanted to go to. So
Okay.
us being born in the state of Alabama, like I try to tell people, you're either an Alabama fan or you're an Auburn fan.
Right.
Like that's just what you are. So when I used to watch him play in high school, like it was something like I'm telling you, back in the day, man, they had guys like Brian Williams. He played at Jeff Davis High School, and a guy named Barlow. So they were like our rivals in Montgomery, Alabama. So the games used to be packed, and like these were high level games, man. Like I'm talking about high level. So everybody went and played high level D1, and I used to watch those games, and they gave me the love. Like, man, I can't wait when I
Yep.
get this
Till you get
age.
to high school. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait till when I get this age because at that time, like I was playing middle school, one of the best players in middle school. Uh, like I've always been pretty good, but I had to get that way because it was something that happened. But I get to that. But just seeing my cousin play, man, and he took on, the persona. He would always take us like to places with him. So when he got to announce, he went to Auburn University
Okay.
where he played with Chris Porter. They were the first Auburn team to be number one in the country.
Got you. Okay.
So man,
Mm.
it was. I was always at Auburn. My best friend, one of my best friend, Antoine Petway, he's an assistant coach at Bama. So I grew up with him too. So he's an assistant at Bama now, but he used to play for Alabama. So I used to
Man.
always, my mom and dad, I was fortunate enough so they could let me, they'll let me go to camp. They took me to camps. So I was able to be seen. And back then you could actually go to the school camp,
Yep.
and like
Yep.
they
Yep.
invite they would invite the best players there.
Right.
And at nighttime, you would actually play against the
Play against the
college
players.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how it used to be. But it was them, man, and that got me into basketball. Like just
Got you.
seeing dad and my cousin Kenny, he's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
Um, like we was always together. So I don't have any siblings, but everybody
Mm.
thought when you see him, you
You
basically
see.
see me.
Got you.
Like we
Got you.
kind of we kind of
Y'all like
favored too.
brothers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so we kind of favored too. So I was always with him. So it was just basketball, basketball. Like that's all it was in my family. Basketball,
Got you.
basketball,
Got you.
basketball, basketball. So that's how I got into it.
Talk a little bit about the importance of that exposure that you got. Like, if there's players watching, parents watching, coaches, I think you hit on something super important when you talked about the fact that seeing your cousin and his journey, it inspired you.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about just that exposure and how it's so important in developing a young player.
Man, it's very important. I try to tell players or parents anytime, like if you got a resource like that,
Yeah.
make sure you use it because a lot of our kids don't get to see they go to college basketball games or
Hmm.
top high school back. Like you been, bro. Like it can change your whole life seeing certain
Fact.
things.
Fact.
It can change for the good because you be like, man, I can't wait to see it, or it could scare you at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
So I was fortunate because I was always with them and got to go to the Auburn, Alabama games, the Auburn, Kentucky games, the Auburn, this and that, like just anything.
Yeah.
Um, like just anything. I would sometimes like, even we had players on my team that played football. So I'm an
Okay.
Alabama football fan. So like got to go on visits with them to watch the football games and just to see how people, treat you
Right.
when you're a
Right.
recruit or
Yeah.
things of that nature. But just getting a resource like that, man, and I try to tell players too, like I know you like me, we givers. Like if I can take a kid to a basketball game, like just so they can
Mm-hmm.
see it, like just so you can see, like, man, this is what it takes to get to this level. Like this how it is on top of this level.
Right.
Because a lot of us don't get it. A lot of, and I was fortunate because I had parents that, I wasn't a millionaire, but they made good enough, and they made sure I was around people like that.
Yeah.
They made sure I didn't stay in the house. I didn't do certain things,
Right.
and I also had my own drive too. You know,
Mm.
a drive to be great.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Nobody had to force you to do it.
nah, nobody had to force me to do nothing. And
Gotcha.
that's something that I took. I think that was passed down to me from my
Yeah.
parents. 'Cause like I said, they both wasn't like as growing up, they wasn't as privileged. So they tried when I was born, they tried to make a life where I didn't have to like worry about nothing.
Facts.
You know? But I took that persona on from them. So, and just being just like I said, just being around my cousin because they wanted to be the best. I
Right.
want to be the best in the country. I want to be this. I want to be that.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. So man, just having that resource,
Yeah.
if it's a coach, if it's a player that a parent whose child plays at a certain school, like just ask, like, you mind if I get a ticket? Can I go to the game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That exposure, man, is big. And now with the platform that they have now that we didn't have,
Yeah, man.
it's way easier now.
They can get so much more access now than
Man,
we could.
too much access. Like
Right.
it's just too much. So yeah, that's what I feel about with the
Okay.
recent. Yep.
That's what's up. And I'm sure just seeing him work gave you like another vision of what it took. But fast forward a little bit to high school, right?
Mhm.
What was that process like for you? Why did you choose, the college that you went to? Like, what was that part of your journey like?
So just to go right back to middle, I got cut in the 7th grade.
Oh, word. Okay,
All right, so I tell you the story. It's crazy. So
for sure.
you know, now in high schools and different things, they give like so in my 7th grade year, they gave the shop teacher the you know what I'm saying? Like I'm
I'm
like, why
sorry,
you
but
get
yeah,
to the
that
why you
happens.
get
Yeah.
to the PE teacher? Like you get to the shop teacher. So if I'm a little older now, so I think his name was Mr. Bolden, if I ain't mistaken. He was a
All
white guy.
right.
He
Shout
was
out to
cool.
Mr. Bolden, the shop
Yeah,
teacher.
he was cool. Now listen, man, he was cool as a Wilson, bro. Like he was my guy, right?
Yeah.
So I took his shop class. And so all the kids, like we all know each other, 7th graders, 8th graders. So I went to a school, like middle school is a little different here. Like I can see
Okay.
something go from 6 to 8. We went from
Yeah.
7th to 8th grade.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Okay.
so it was 7 to 8. So I knew all the players, like 8th graders. Everybody knew me, and I
Hmm.
knew everybody. So we had tryouts, right? I'm not gonna say that I had the best day of tryouts. Just
Yeah.
being completely honest, I was a little off,
Okay.
but I wasn't that bad, right?
Got you.
So I'm like, bro, I want to make the team. Like I done had MVPs in the fifth,
Uh-huh.
6th grade. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm cool, right? Man, so when they used to put that paper up
Yeah,
as they come
on
out to
it, tape it up
school.
on the wall.
Yeah. They like cover it. So class get out at 3:30. We're gonna have the list on the door at
Yeah.
3:45, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm cocky. I'm like, oh, I ain't got worried about it, man. And man, I walked to that door, and I was like,
Let me make sure I look again.
nah, you see something, you like, nah, I know this is a joke, right?
Right.
I look again, bro. My name is not on there. So, your classmates see you and they like, bro, where your name at? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, bro.
Making it even worse.
So like the 8th graders, and they gotta tell everybody, man, y'all know Rob ain't make it. Y'all know Rob ain't
Right.
make it.
Right.
So
Right.
the 8th graders, a guy named by Johnny Waters
Hmm.
and Jamarcus,
Still
I forgot.
remember the names.
Yeah, I forgot Jamarcus' name. They was like, bro, you got cut. Like a lot of 8th graders was like, bro, I know you joking, right? I'm like, nah, bro, you cut me. So literally, they went to him after it was over and they talked to him. They was like, bro, you can't cut him.
Uh,
Lil Rob, like they called me Lil Rob. Lil Rob can
Okay.
play. Like,
Okay.
and it was like Lil Rob can play. You can't cut him, bro. Like you can't do this. And he was like, well, yeah, he's too small, man. Like I don't know if I can. That's like I'm telling you, like he one of your best shooters though. Like you gotta trust him.
Wow.
So the next day, I had him in shop. I came back, right? And he called and he told me, listen, I'm gonna give you another shot. All
Mm.
right. Now, of course, you know how stuff get around school, right? People say, so the word was my mom had went and talked to him.
Uh,
Yeah, to give me because my mom was very influential, like in the
got you.
school. My mom,
Got you.
PTA president, my mom,
Mm.
all that, right?
Uh,
But it was actually the eighth graders that did.
right.
So I went back the next day. I was the only dude that got cut that got to come back and try again.
Mm.
And I completely crushed the next day. I was hitting shots. He came to me after it was over and he told me he really apologized to me. And he was like, the only reason I didn't pick you because I thought you were too small. So going from that, that changed my whole view on
Yeah.
everything.
That woke you up.
Woke me up
It ain't
because
sweet.
it wasn't that I couldn't play. It was just now I had the motivation. I got confirmation uh that now I got the motivation that everybody looks at me because I'm so small now.
Right. You got something to prove.
Now I know I had to be 10 times better
Correct.
than the next man.
Correct. Correct.
So that right there changed my whole view. So and my dad, and when I got to high school, another thing that changed my life was AAU. Us being from Alabama at the time, we didn't know how big AAU was.
Right.
We thought YMCA basketball was.
Okay.
So you know you play YMCA tournament. So
Yeah.
my first AAU tournament, bro, I will never forget. We drove to Carson Newman College in Jefferson City, Tennessee, and it was a thing called my mom. God rest my mom. So she got us a little AAU team from Alabama, and we got put in this tournament, right? So we got to Carson Newman, and it was called the Battle of the Bluff, the Battle of the South. That's what it was called.
Okay.
And we get in there, we take the tallest guy we had was like 6'5", you know what I'm saying? So we get there, and bro, like we get off the bus, we seeing 7-footers.
Mm.
We was like, hold up, what is this? Like,
Right.
and like we walking around, and that's when I got opened up to like the world basketball.
Correct. Got you.
Not just in my city and not in my state, but now everybody Southeast. So we play. So the first game we played that night was the Georgia Stars. I never forget. I ain't know nothing about it now. No nothing.
Wow.
We doing our layups line. We laying the ball up for. They on the other end dunking,
Punching
punching.
it.
I'm talking about the shortest dude is like doing windmills, and I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, hold on, this ain't what I signed up for. Because you say you want something, but you don't know how
Right.
it
Right.
really is.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Ain't nothing like experience.
Man, listen, man. They beat us by 40 points. So we played against the Georgia Stars, the Southeast Eagles, which is Bradley Bill Elite now.
Okay.
And they used to be called the Tennessee Travelers. That was the Nike team that was in Tennessee. But they changed now to so now you got Mocan and you got Team Thad. But the Tennessee Travelers used to be the Nike team out there. So we played 3 Nike teams. I guarantee our margin of loss was almost 40, 50 points.
Wow.
But what really changed it was we came to Atlanta and played in it was called the Atlanta Basketball Classic, run by the late great Wallace Prather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to him and his son.
Yeah, and his son. So we came here. My mom got real cool with Wallace. And I'll never forget, we played against the Celtics. And they had a little guard that was my side. And Corey, when I tell you he killed me, bro, like it wasn't even, like, it was so bad. Like he did me so dirty. And my dad, and after it was my coach, his name is Velvin Robinson. Velvin started at West Virginia playing, and then he transferred to Carson Newman. He was
Okay.
my coach at the time, my AAU
Shout out to
coach.
coach.
And after we got beat like that, right? It was the end of the summer. He literally told me, like, he hurt my feelings. He was like, "You won't play here, 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 here." But he wasn't telling me that to like down my spirits. It was to let me know that, like, listen, bro, like you can't
It's
play on this.
levels. Yeah, it's
There's
levels.
levels to this. And I could have just said, you know what, I don't do this no more.
Got
But
you.
as soon as I left, my dad was like, see, I tried to tell you. Like, I tried to tell you. From that time forward, Corey, like, every day I got up. I used to have, you remember them jump soles?
Yeah, yeah. Put them on top
I
of your
put, I
shoes.
put
Go
them
out.
jump
Yeah.
soles on. Now, I ain't never skied and dunked, right? But jump
Hmm.
soles made me quicker and faster.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
I just
It
started running
maximized
off.
at what you had.
They maximized what I had. So I understood, like, okay, this is what I got to do. And then the next year, we played the same Atlanta Celtics team, and I did the opposite. I gave it to him. But I got to high school, my ninth grade year, you know, it's a little different now. Like, if you one of the best players, they'll put you on varsity.
Correct.
My coaches, Coach Willie Max and them, they didn't play that.
Yeah,
They
a lot
went,
of coaches didn't believe in that back in the day.
yeah.
You had to
So
play freshman.
you had to play freshman ball. Now, unless you would we had one dude do it, but he was ranked in the country. He had came from another school, Jay Miller. Shout
Right.
out to Jay. But he had lost his mom when he was little in a car accident.
Okay.
So he had to move to Selma. So he was like top 10 in the country. And he was how I found about AAU. So that's like they had been playing AAU longer than us.
Got
So
you.
he moved there. So they moved him to varsity. So I played ninth grade. We went undefeated my ninth grade year. I played 10th grade. 10th grade was JV. So, I didn't start. I think I should have started. Coach Harris didn't start me, so it was cool. I didn't start. But oh man, I'm sorry. I was the
You
sixth
good,
man.
bro. You good.
Keep getting these Bible apps.
Oh,
So
good.
what's happening is my girl, she's doing her comments on the Bible apps. So it makes it.
So you get them. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so my I was a six man. So then I learned about being a six man. And I was
Gotcha.
always watching basketball. And at that time when I was playing, Bobby Jackson was like one of the best six man for
Yep.
Sacramento.
For Sacramento. Right.
I was like, I
Right.
just do Bobby Jackson. So I will not start, but I'll play the rest of the game. And then that's when I started getting to 11th grade. And then that's when I took a jump, big jump. So people started knowing me. It's just, we went to, so a lot of these guys that people don't know, they were in class with me. So I got to play against Chris Paul. I
Yeah.
got to play against Travis Outlaw. I got
Wow.
to be around all these guys. And my class, I come out the same class as Chris Paul, LeBron James. So I
That's
got to see,
03,
yep,
02, 02,
yep,
03.
oh 03, yep.
Okay.
So I got to see Bron. I got to see, man, who else? So Major Wingate was the number one player in our class.
Okay.
And people don't know that. It wasn't
Yeah.
LeBron James. It was Major Wingate. That didn't happen until LeBron played the ABCD his junior year. And
Got you.
and
That's when
killed
he played against Lenny Cook.
Lenny Cook. Yep, exactly. So that's when everybody go. Major Wingate was out known. He was 6'9" in the 8th grade. And Major played at University of Tennessee. So,
Got you.
man, I really took a jump. Like,
Yeah.
I was always at Auburn playing with my cousin them. I was just getting better each and every year. So by the
Yeah.
time I get senior, it was easy peasy then. Like,
Right.
unfortunately, I didn't win a state championship, but I got to be national. I got to be known. And then I just decided, you know what? I looked at basketball from two ways. Of course, all of us want to play in the NBA.
Right.
But my mom and dad always instilled academics in me because I knew if I didn't do my academics, I couldn't play basketball.
Okay.
So I was top 10 in my class in academics. I was salutatorian in middle school. So I had a 4.3 in high school, and
It
I
was
was
in
taking
you.
taking dual enrollment college courses. So when I
Yeah,
went to
using
college,
AP classes.
yeah. So when I was taking college courses when I was in 10th grade. So by the time I got to college, I was in the classroom. I was almost a junior in the classroom.
Wow.
So I just got better, and then that's when letters started rolling in, visits, and then I just said, you know what? My first college letter, bro. You'll never. I promise you. I got my first college letter on 9/11.
Hmm.
Opened up the mail. My first collegiate letter. My first two collegiate letters were from Colgate University
Okay.
and Temple University
And
on 9
Temple was the truth.
on 9/11, bro. Like literally.
Wow.
Soon
Wow.
as we got out of school, I went, and that was my first two letters. So that day is
I don't
infamous.
want to sidetrack too much, but what was your experience on that day? Because I can still remember exactly where I was. I know you probably
Um,
can too.
I That's something that you'll never forget, bro.
Right,
Like
of course.
I was in the 10th grade.
Okay.
So that was 2001, 2002, correct? No,
Mm-hmm.
I was in
Yeah.
11th grade. I was 11th grade.
Okay.
11th grade. Because that was the fall of 2001, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because I graduated 03. Yeah. So that was 11th grade. I'll never forget. I was in English literature. Um, Mrs. Mrs. I forgot her name. I'm pretty good with names, but I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we in literature class, and we sitting in there. One of my classmates asked, can he go to the office? So we just not doing anything. We just getting ready to go through our books. He comes back and he said, Miss, her name was Miss B, something like that. He was like, Miss Beck, she was a white lady. And he said, hey, they just said a plane ran through the World Trade Center. And she was like, what did you just say? He said, a plane
Yeah.
just ran through the Trade Center. And she said, Jarvis, don't you play like that. She's
Yeah.
like, don't you play like that. He said, I'm not joking. So, back in the day, them school TVs, they look too good.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really paid
Had the
for
big
it.
old butt on the back that
Yeah.
would hang from the ceiling in the corner.
So you
Yeah.
had to go touch the butt.
Right.
And, it's all over the news.
Yeah.
Plane hits. And she literally broke down just crying
Broke
that day.
down. Yeah.
So we like, what's the biggest, like, I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Y'all kids. Y'all
We
don't
like,
understand that.
what's
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
biggest, we
understand.
like, what the big deal is? So as you started to watch a little more,
Mm-hmm.
I think the second plane hit when we almost changed classes.
Wow.
So we still watching it. And then that's when the second plane hit. And then we started to figure out, hold up now. Did we
Yeah.
just see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
plane go through
You just saw it. Yeah.
yeah, so
Not a
now
replay.
we like, okay. And then then cell phones they had like the internet like they do now.
Yeah. 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 Fact. All you do is call and text and play
So yeah,
Centipede.
so I can't go to CNN or
Right.
Yahoo or see what's going
Right.
on. And then as you start to go to each class, it just we didn't do nothing all day.
Mm-mm.
Like people were crying, I didn't know the impact of it till I went home.
Fact.
My mom was off that day, so she didn't go to work. And our air conditioner broke that day. It broke down, so the man had to come fix it. I still remember. And it was on TV all this. So I just literally sat down in front of the TV, and then I started to learn like, oh, this many people died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now this ain't it. This not good.
Yeah.
And even when I got my letters, you're supposed to be excited. I was just like, And
That's
then
crazy.
when we started to see the buildings drop, like the
Yeah.
tower fall, that made it even worse. So
Yeah. So you
that's a
couldn't
day
even really focus and be happy.
that was a day I'll never forget, man. I'll
Wow,
never
bro.
forget. But
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
we was in world geography. I'm in seventh grade when 9/11 happened. And
Mhm,
as soon as it happened, a girl a girl ran into our classroom
mhm,
crying. And I had a white male teacher. He turned
mhm,
on the television, same one you talking about. It was like strapped to like
mhm.
this
Yep,
thing. They
yep,
used to hold it on the
yep,
ceiling.
Exactly. Yep.
and we all had to get under the desks because they thought that a plane was going to not just hit the World Trade Center. They thought the second plane was going to either hit the Pentagon
Yeah, or the White House.
or the White House. And
Mhm.
then there was like reports that they might try to hit the Capitol building in Atlanta, the one with the
Really?
gold
The
dome.
gold one. The gold one.
That's what people were saying. So I just remember, like you said, not really understanding, but then, of course, you getting home or getting around other adults and
Mhm.
people breaking it down, and you just keep
Mhm.
watching the news, and it's like, oh
Mhm.
man, like
Yeah.
it's first time on American soil as a
Yeah.
kid that I had seen anything. It's not like we live in another country where they always at war, but
Yeah.
um, talk about, okay, you get those letters, Colgate, Temple. Why Temple? I mean, I know why I might have chose Temple if I was you, but at the same time, I'm not you. So talk a little bit about the history of the school, the legacy, and why you chose it.
So I could have went to Bama, could have went to
Okay.
UAB. That's when my mom
Wow.
graduated. Auburn, of course.
Wow. So
My
you could have
favorite
stayed
school,
home.
my favorite school was Florida though.
Really?
That was my favorite, bro. Listen, cause you know they played little dudes like Teddy Dupay,
Mm,
like
that's
they
right.
Brandon Nelson, like they played. So one of my friends, he was a class ahead of me. His name was Chuck Davis. I know if you probably went to the ABL or something. He played on the green team, Chuck Davis. No, he played with Joe Johnson's team.
Okay. Okay.
Big Chuck. So Big Chuck was like one of the top players in the state. He went to my rival school, Southside High School.
Okay.
So his junior year, what they used to do was when coaches came to recruit, you know how they had open gyms when coaches
Right.
come to. So we would play instead of them went to practice. We would all play pickup. The best players in the city would go to the junior college, which was
Okay.
Wallace Community College, and go play pickup in front of John Pelfrey used to be the coach at Arkansas.
No.
Okay, so Pelfrey was working for Billy Donovan at the time, so he was at.
Okay. Okay.
I remember one day, so everybody recruited Chuck, Penn State, Florida, Arkansas, almost there except for Duke, Carolina, them they didn't come. But one day he was like, "Yo, hey, y'all need to show up to the gym today. We're gonna hoop today." He's like, "Florida coming." I was like, "Who?" He was like, "Florida." Man, I was like, "Yes." So we go. That was the best day I ever played. I still ain't get an offer. I was hot, bro. I wanted to offer that day because I wanted to go to Florida. But the biggest thing for Temple with me, once I got that letter, I got to like research. And then I started to watch. Like Land Greer was like somebody that I actually like watching him play. You know, I knew Coach Chaney was legendary. Um, and the other factor was they had one of the top 5 business schools in the country.
Okay.
So,
Going back to what your parents instilled in you. Got
yeah,
you.
they weren't gonna just let me say, "Hey, bro, I'm playing the NBA, and I don't care what none of y'all say."
Right.
And what before I fin what changed my life though about thinking about school though, even though
Yeah.
we said it was my mom now, this changed me. I told you my cousin was an All-American, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you go to Auburn right now and you walk in the practice facility, you see the All-Americans on top of this big, on the big banner. Auburn only has, well, I think now if you add Kessler and Jabari, him and Chris Porter and Charles Barkley and Chuck Person are the only All-Americans that ever come through Auburn.
Hmm.
And he was the only point guard ever in the history of the school in basketball, right? I remember their junior year, they were number 1 in the country. They lost against Scooney Penn. You remember that name? Or do you know? Scooney Penn played Ohio State. Scooney Penn and Michael Redd. They lost against them in the Sweet 16 in the University of Tennessee in the Sweet 16 tournament.
Mm.
Coming in, they had him on mock drafts going in the first round, right? But they all decided, hey, let's come back one more year and let's win the national championship. So that's when I got introduced like Sports Illustrated. Like they came down and did like a whole piece on my cousin at the bridge. Like he sat on top of the bridge and all. Like it was cold, right? And they came back. Now they didn't have towards getting to right before they got to the SEC tournament. Chris Porter got in trouble by the NCAA for taking impermissible benefits, so he missed the tournament. So they played. They were a 5 seed, and you know them 5-12s are always hard.
Yeah, that's a toss up.
No, no, they won their first game. It was their second game, the 32.
Okay.
And they played against Marcus Pfizer and Jamal Tinsley at Iowa State.
Jamal Tinsley was the truth.
Ooh, boy, was
the truth.
Best spin move I ever seen. Like, yeah. And they lost. So my cousin in the season, like he wanted to, right? But we still thought, hey man, like he gonna go to the league. Like he gonna play. Like we didn't have NFL football player, we never had a basketball guy, right?
Got you.
And I remember that's why, when we do pre-drafts and we deal with agents and we deal with all this stuff, I learned about that stuff when I was younger.
Got you.
So he was, he went through the draft process. Same thing these dudes go through now.
Yeah.
He went to the combine. The combine was a little different then than it is now.
Of course.
And because they used to just play back then.
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't all this testing and
there wasn't no test. They was swooping.
Yeah, that's it.
And I remember two teams liked him real well: the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
And you know how when they tell you that about the guarantees, like let's get a guarantee from a team. Well, his agent at the time was like, "Yo, I think we got a guarantee with the Sacramento Kings," and they stopped doing workouts with anybody else. They shut it down.
Got you.
I'll never forget, man. That night, at the draft party, to see him go undrafted, that changed my whole trajectory, bro.
Of course.
Because you knew, like, we was like, ain't no way he not going to make it.
Yeah.
And then you don't get your name called. Now you're undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
So he played in the league like just sparingly. Then he just didn't love it no more.
Yeah.
So
it made it real for you. It brought it to reality.
Okay, so then I was like, first of all, he's 6'4". I'm 5'7.5". Like that's a whole different ball game. So I was like, my dad is an accountant.
Okay.
Mom is a nurse practitioner. Hold on, Court. Oh shit.
You good.
We're good. All right. But the thing that I learned was I need to go to school to get a degree. So like I told you, my mom was a nurse practitioner, my dad was an accountant. So they said, you're going to have to figure something out. Because I didn't want to be a doctor because I don't like hospitals. I don't like none of that. So I was like, okay, if I do make it somewhere, I can count my own money. I don't need nobody else to count. So I researched each school, business schools, and Temple was at top 5.
Yeah.
And I chose to go there, went on a visit. It was they had another guard that was coming in, Mario Tabron, Dustin Salisbury, my partner Tyreek Bird. So we had a pretty good freshman class. I went to go visit, and I just told my mom and them I didn't want to stay close to home. So
yeah,
I wanted to spread my own wings and get away. Because, being from a small city and then you playing AAU, you flying places and going to camps. Because, camps was more prevalent then than they are now.
Right.
I wanted to stay home. So that's why I went to Temple. So that was like one of the biggest reasons.
So, man, those are some awesome, first of all, before we go forward, those are some awesome stories, awesome life lessons. Just you talking about, your cousin's journey and it playing out in front of you and that being like a wake-up call for you that, dreaming is what we all should do. We should never stop dreaming, right? But at the same time, you have to know that nothing is promised in this life, and everything that you have, uh, it requires work, it requires sacrifice. But at times, like things that you don't even see or roadblocks that are in the way, like it can try to take them from you. So you
For
have to
sure.
know what to do and how to handle yourself and how to be prepared. So I love that you share that. And I hope the players out there, the parents out there, coaches out there took heed to that and they share it with everybody out there listening.
Mhm.
Talk to me about you making the decision once your playing career was over to then become a coach, because I know it happens at different times. Like some people know they want to be coaches since they was young because they might have seen somebody in their family doing it. For some of us, it's maybe because of something else. Like I know for me, it was I never got coaching. Like
Mm,
no one ever really took the time to coach me or teach me the game. So I wanted to be what I felt like I wish I had when I
mhm.
was coming up. That's why I be like sometimes
Yeah,
over communicating. I be
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
break it all the way
yeah,
down because it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
felt I felt slow when I was
And
hooping,
you do, and you do a great job.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro. But that's that little
Yeah,
kid in
yeah.
me that's
You,
like,
you do a
I
great
don't
job.
know.
I
I
got
don't
you.
know. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure, for sure.
uh talk about why you got started, and then I know you're gonna drop some gems because you wanted the best for a reason. So, don't hold back as to whatever you feel like the coaches out there need to know.
Man, bro, to be honest, I tell people this all the time. It was the grace of God.
Wow. That's right.
Um, I once I stopped playing, I I got married at a young age. I got married right out of college.
Okay.
After I finished playing after then, and just doing the pro thing for a little bit, I had to go provide. So that brought me to Atlanta. I came to Atlanta for a little bit, and I met a kid here. And it was just I was hooping at like LA Fitness,
Okay.
playing at Bally's, LA Fitness, playing at the Smyrna Rec.
Yeah.
They had. I never got over where y'all was at. I didn't even know.
Okay.
I didn't know about
Okay.
over Antonio Road. I might would have met you sooner.
Yeah.
Um, and man, I'll never forget. I just said one day in my mind, I just said, man, I just want to get back, like just help some kids. Like, I just never had that inkling for coaching. I did.
Got you.
I was just, if I can't play, I really don't
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I was, you know what? I want to get back to some kids. So the funniest thing is, I emailed every AAU program here in Atlanta.
Wow.
Email, not call. Email.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I went to each one of them website if they have one.
Okay.
Georgia Stars, Celtics. Uh, I think
What
Georgia
about
Stars
worldwide? Before they was
worldwide.
getting elite?
Dez and them didn't have a website. I don't think.
Got you. Yeah, they was just thugging it back then.
They was oh no, yeah, they definitely was, but they was killing too.
Right.
But and Southern Stampede, Al,
Okay.
Big
Okay.
Al,
Okay.
so Big
Big
Al,
Al.
right?
Yeah.
So I emailed everybody, right? Nobody responded but Al. He was the only one.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, I might need for a 15U coach or whatever." But before then, when I got to Marietta, there was a team called the Cobb Purple Knights, and they had like a little team. And this guy by the name of James Williams, I don't know if you know James. James
Mm-mm.
helped coaches with Coach Huff now. Well, no,
Okay.
James is not. James is at I think he's with Coach Huff. He's somewhere, but he's a college coach now.
Yeah.
He had a passion for kids. So I met him and he was just like, "Hey man, yeah, he's like, yeah, you can help us with like with training." I'm like, getting with these little kids. I said, "All right, cool." So he's like, "I got this little team for you." So I had this little team, I think they was in the 7th grade at the time, Corey. and I was just feeding into them, like teaching them certain things. And I was just teaching them stuff I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't no, it was straight off the dome. It wasn't no, I'm looking at
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's what I knew. And I was
That's
like,
how it all was back then.
yeah. I'm just gonna help y'all,
Right.
I'm just gonna help y'all, whatever. And I never forget, oh my God, Jerome Weaver. Jerome.
Okay. Why does that sound so familiar?
All right, so Jerome is over the AAU tournament. It happens every year. It's like the first big AAU tournament in Swanee.
Okay.
It's tip out
Okay.
classic, Big
Okay.
Jerome.
Yeah.
Tip out.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Back in the day, he had a team called I think it was the Heat Check. That was their
Okay.
name.
Okay.
Heat Check. So I remember I was gonna help this team, right? And they got beat like a week before by the Heat Check by like 80 to like 5 points. So they had another tournament game at the all tournament players park, but now it's next play.
Yep.
Uh
Yep.
by Scoop now. So it's next that was
Mm-hmm. Yep.
we go over there and I never forget. That's when I was like, okay, now I was like, hey, you didn't transform. He had a bunch of seventh graders. They all were taller than me. And like they were some of the best seventh graders I ever seen in my life. So after the season, we took some bumps and bruises. Then I got to play against Colin Sexton. He played with the
Okay.
Georgia Fury. I remember Colin when he had the little cornrows.
Yeah. We had the braids.
Yeah, he had the braids.
His shoe.
Colin
His
had
shoes was too big for him back
yeah,
then.
Colin had the braids. We played against them, and after it was all over, I had one kid come to me by the name of Ricky Sherman.
Hmm.
He calls me one day, and he said he was the one that gave my name, Coach Rob. Called me and said, Coach Rob, my dad said, would you mind training me? I was like, training you? What is that? He said, man, like my dad, like I see you play all the time. Like you can really play. Like I want to learn. And I said, well, man, I ain't never trained nobody, so I don't know if and then he said, well, if you train me, my daddy said he'll pay you. I said, what? I said, he gonna pay me to
You ain't
teach you
know it was a
basketball?
business out here. That's right.
Yeah. I was like, are you for real? He said, yeah. He said, how much would you charge? So I was just like, I just threw him a
Yeah.
number. He
Yeah.
said, cool. So I said, all right, let's go. And Corey, I stayed at the LA Fitness over here by me on Kennesaw. And took him over there and like just worked with the kid every day. I ain't worked with nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him for a whole year. Just working. And I started seeing like he getting better.
Mm-hmm.
He getting better. I ain't thinking about none of this. And then I started to figure out like the aspects of training. I started hearing things about training.
Right.
That's when I heard about Mark Edwards,
Right.
Ryan Harrow.
Mm-hmm.
I met Ryan Harrow through Damon Stevens. Damon used to coach the Lou Williams Elite.
Okay.
And he had Ryan Harrow in the YMCA. He told me, he said that kid gonna be one of the best guards in the country. I was
Wow.
like, him? And I had
Wow.
never seen a kid dribble basketball like that. So I
Yeah.
met him. And then I met Mark Edwards. So then that's when YouTube
Kind of started
started.
taking off. Yeah.
I started looking at YouTube a little bit more. And then I started seeing like, okay, him. And then I saw a guy named Swain. Swain had
Yeah.
Al Tariq.
Yeah.
I'm starting
Oh,
like,
Tariq
okay,
Gilbert. Gotcha.
yeah. I'm like, okay, all this training stuff, like, all right. So then I remember Johnny, Handle Life, right? He had his first time doing training, he would put his camera at the top. He used to go to his college. He would put a camera at the top and he would just do ball handling drills all the time. So then I started like, okay, this is what training is about. This is what it is. And I remember, Corey, like I've evolved so much since then. I used to put cones everywhere, bro. Like, I laugh
Yeah,
about it.
we all did. We all
Hey,
did.
Corey, I don't think you put as many as me though. One time, hey, on the court, bro, I never forget this, man. My boy
I
Trey,
don't think
a
you put as
grad,
many as I did.
my boy Trey, grassroots, bro. I never forget. I trained his little cousin one time, and we laugh about this now. I think I put like 30 some cones on one side of the floor.
Oh no, you had me beat. Golly.
And like, I had him in it, and I thought I was doing something, bro. I swear I did. But now, so I started seeing this kid get better, man. And then people were coming to the gym, and they was like, yo. And I knew once he played and people saw how good he was, then it made people might start coming to me and asking me to train. And that's what was happening. Like, yo, could
Gotcha.
you teach my brother? Could you teach this? Could you teach this? Could you do this? And I met so many people throughout that. And then that's when I started saying, okay, I need to get on a bigger level. So then
Okay.
that's Al hit me back. He was like, yo, I got a 15U team. So
Yeah.
I asked my best friend, we won the best 15U. I thought Al was gonna give me the best of the best. I was like, I ain't gonna really, but I had to do tryouts and everything. When I did tryouts the first day, bro, 7 kids showed up.
Y'all
But
all
I
made the
know
team.
7, but I learned something that day. Don't matter how many come, it's just the quality in it.
That's right. That's right.
2 kids came, right? That I'm forever indebted in. A kid named Austin Dukes and a kid named Michael Kinsey. And they were some talented. Al had told me they had got cut. And he was like, but Raw, they can go. Like, there'll be some good players for you. And I just built a team of kids, man. And my one of my best friends, Marcus Williams, now he's a coach at Evansville. He had just got back from overseas playing. So we used to play at LA Fitness all the time. And like we knew so he said he wanted to get into coaching. So I said, bro, can you help me? And I think it's good to have people around you that are not exactly like you.
Right.
He was an X's and O's guy. Like, he was one of them dudes, draw a play up, blah, 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 blah. And like, just draw it out of his mind. I'm great at developing. So we were good for each other. And we started the Southern Stampede 15U team. And Micah and Austin and Ricky were like 3 of the best players on the team. Like, we took our bumps, but that's when I started to see Al had, and that's why I look at these kids now, knowing I didn't grew up now, and that Wendell Carter was, Lil Al, man, just all these kids, Colin, all of them just getting bigger and bigger, and I just was like, man, this is something, but I didn't like coaching.
Got you.
After that summer, I ain't like coaching, so I was like, I'm just gonna stick to this development stuff.
Yeah.
So
You found your calling.
So I got out of AAU, and that's when God just, and I tell people this all the time, God just started putting people like different avenues in my life, and it's funny how everything comes full circle. That's when Instagram started being popping, so I need a haircut real bad.
Okay.
And everywhere up here, people was messing my head up, just tearing it up. And I got on Instagram and I went to the explore page. So I found this guy that cuts hair. And his name was Dre the Barber.
Okay.
And I was like, man, listen, if I'm gonna let him cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I heard about you, was like people was like, yeah, I work with this guy Corey.
Oh man, yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So I started hearing about people. So, but I needed this haircut real bad. So I drove downtown, right? I get down there. He takes me all his information. Corey, it was 9 people waiting to get a haircut.
Wow, chill with him.
Yes, 9. So,
Quality.
and he wasn't doing appointments. So it was first come, first serve.
Gotcha.
So I waited 5 hours to get a haircut, bro. I'm not lying to you. 5. But I wasn't gonna leave because I said he's gonna cut my hair.
Yeah.
So I got in the chill core. I still was working as an accountant. And he was like, yo, I ain't want to sound corny, So he said, "Hey man, nice to meet you. What you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a basketball trainer." He said, "Oh, for real?" And he said, "Where your stuff at?" I was like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Where your Instagram page? Where your stuff at?"
Mm.
I was like, "I ain't got one." And he said, "You know who my best friend is?" Who your best friend? You finna laugh at this. He said, "Joe Johnson, my best friend."
Wow.
I said, "Who?" He said, "Joe Johnson." And that's when Joe
Still
was
hooping. Yeah.
he
ISO
had just
Joe.
signed, he had just signed that deal, I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I'm gonna try to get you with Joe." He said, "I'm gonna see if I can get him to do it, but I know he gonna want to see something that you do." And he said, "Why you don't have a page?" I said, "Well, bro, I don't want nobody taking my stuff. Like, I just don't want nobody looking at my stuff." And he
Mm.
was like, "Let me ask you a question." He said, "How many barbers you think in this world?" I said, "A lot." He said, "How many people you think do temp fades and all these different hairstyles?" I said, "A lot." He said, "I just feel like they're not better than me. So if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. They're not me,
Mm.
my own person." So
Mm.
that's when I started to get a Instagram page.
Yeah.
And back then, videos had to be like 30 seconds.
That's right. That's right.
So when I started it, I tried to do something different. I wanted to do it like a music video. So
Yeah.
I wanted to keep
Yeah.
you engaged. So I would get the hottest songs and I would put somebody doing the video. And I remember I used to get 10 views. And I used to think that was, then I got 20, then I got 30. And then I started to see like, okay, social media can help me get more clients. And then that's when he introduced me to Chris Williams.
Gotcha.
And he came and got a haircut the same day. And I met Chris. He was like, "Yo, Chris, this Raw, he a trainer." So Chris was like, "All right, cool, nice to meet you." So then Chris started introducing me to people. Then after that, I met Winfrey Jordan. So everybody started seeing my stuff. And then they're like, "Can you work with our guys and this and that?" And that's just how I met Winfrey. Then I met Ant-Man for the first time. And then I met Darby, who was Chris' mentor. So he had me help with his AAU team with the Atlanta Express. So I was able to do that. But then what really jumped me off was when Chris allowed me to work with Ashton. And I had learned, because I had built my reputation a little bit, but like I know, being from Atlanta, I learned if you had that certain guy in the city that
That's right.
everybody like that was that guy,
Yeah.
everybody wanted to mess with you. So
That's right.
around that time, that's when Colin was jumping off, the young bull.
Right. With Nick
So,
Stapleton.
and it's crazy, how we was talking about training. Nick was the first trainer I ever met.
Wow.
Me and Nick met at Acres Mill LA Fitness. He was on one end, I was on the other.
Got you.
And we talked. And Nick started to go with the Nike basketball. I forgot what it's called. Yeah. Nike Elite Nike Hoops, right? And at that time, he was telling me, just come through, man, just come through. And I just felt like, sometimes you don't know people and stuff like that. So you just
Mm-hmm.
like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
when I found out. They was like, yeah, and this guy named Nick Stapleton coach. I was like, that's the dude that used to always be telling me. Now, when I seen him, I hugged him and everything because me and Nick been cool a long time. But then, like, that young bull was jumping off. So, just like we said with Mark, he had Ryan. So, everybody wanted to go learn from Mark.
That's right.
Then, Swain had Tariq Gibb, McDonald's, everybody want to go work with him. And Nick, everybody wanted to work with Nick because of Colin, right?
Facts. Facts.
But my influence wasn't, I want to train these guys so more people could come to me. Because I was cool with just 5 or 6 dudes. I
With
was
your
cool.
guys.
Yeah, my guys. I've never been the one that wanted to have like an assembly line, like 40 kids in a workout.
Yeah.
Just go, go, go. Because I feel like I can't get them better like that.
Right.
So Chris one time hit me like one night. I was laying on the couch. I'll never forget this. Laying on the couch. And he said, yo, Ashton and his dad want to see if you want to come work him out at Grady High School. And I got up, drove down there. I worked Ashton. I still got that first video on my page that I made. And we worked out. And ever since then, we was locked in. And then that's when, like that's when he went on the circuit, started killing. And then the next year he came back. He was number one point guard in the country. So then that's when my notoriety got a little bit better. But it was like God just kept putting people in my
Yeah.
lines. I wouldn't be here without Ricky showing me what I was great at.
Yeah.
But I'm also I'm indebted to him, Michael, and Ken, and Austin, because they were the first ones to believe in me, and their
Yeah, they
parents.
trusted you. Yeah.
They could have left and went somewhere, but they like, nah, you good. And not just them, it's other people like Mahir, I keep forgetting their names, man. If I forget your name, I'm sorry.
All
But
good, man.
just know all y'all,
You got a lot of
like,
years under your belt.
everybody I work with, no matter if you stayed or little, like y'all helped me get to where I was. But Ashton was the one that propelled it.
Got you.
Like he was the one
Got
when
you.
like people took me serious. Like I
Yeah.
felt like, and to see him get better, and then that's when I started working with Chuma and like other dudes, and then like a lot of the OGs were gracious to me. Dez, Mark was good to me. Like all these guys in Atlanta, because I'm not from here, and Atlanta basketball scene ain't that big. Everybody
Mm-mm.
says it, but it's not.
Everybody know
Knows
everybody. That's
everybody
right.
knows everybody.
They can
So
act like they don't. They do.
yeah, and man, like all those guys were influential in just me becoming who I was, and like just me new people, and then social media got me out there. So we can, if we got easy access to reach out to people. And they can, I've reached out to people. Some people hear me, some people did,
Yeah,
but it's that resource.
for
And
sure.
that, like, those, God kind of showed me, like, bro, this what you good at. Like,
Hmm.
and then I started seeing how good people start getting it. And that's just how I got to where I am, honestly.
That's amazing, bro. All because you needed a haircut.
Yep.
That's amazing, fam.
Yeah, see, all because I
That's
need that.
amazing.
All because I need
So,
one.
but before I let you go, I really want you to dive into one of the most intimate conversations you and I have had offline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you know the ups and downs of this industry. It's peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm.
Skill training it's like a gladiator sport sometimes. And sometimes when you are in the fight every
Mm-hmm.
day with players, you with other people's kids more than you are with your family, more than you are with, your people.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just the cost that sometimes we have to pay, because I think that the younger generation of trainers, they don't know what comes with the journey you've been on, because you've been at this now over a decade. Like they don't know that. So
Mm-hmm.
share what you want, but break it down so that some of these younger trainers can understand the cost of this life.
So just like you said, me and you had candid conversations on this
Facts.
because you didn't know my story and I ain't know
Right.
you. And yours open mine, and I know mine open yours.
Right.
Like I try to tell younger trainers a lot on asking, like they look at they look at what we're doing, like who we're working out, who we're
Mm-hmm.
working out. Like they see us as like figures sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to tell them, like, you gotta know when you getting into this that it comes with a price, right? When I started this, I was married. So to get to where I at now, just like you said, I had to be with other people's kids more than mine sometimes, or more than my significant other at the time. And it took a toll because you're doing it at the kindness of your heart. Like you're you're giving into whoever you're working on. Because I know you give into your people. I do the same.
That's right.
same time, you fail to look at the outside looking in, like, okay, so you're doing this, but you're missing. And I had to apologize to my daughter one time
Wow.
because I tried to get her into basketball, my oldest, and she wanted to do it at first. But I remember sometimes she would have games on Saturday mornings. I always trained on Saturday. And I would make it late to her game sometimes. I would even miss. And my daughter hates basketball now. And I know
Wow.
because it was, and mom used to tell me, like, you want to put her in it, but you ain't even there, you know?
Mm.
And you remember, I was getting up early in the morning sometimes. I used to do stuff with Swain before. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
drive to help. And you not knowing, you're neglecting, like she having to get the kids ready for school. I'm out training, you know, and it took a toll because I was I was just so drenched on helping my guys,
Yeah.
helping not just them, helping to propel my career because it coexists with each other. Like if
Correct.
you want to coach, man, this is a grind. Like I don't think people understand that. Like they look at what kind of money they might make or whatever, but it's a grind. Like you're gonna miss some things, and you gotta have people in your corner that understand that. Like you're gonna miss some stuff and not see some things, and you're gonna spend some money that you might not even get back. I know you can attest to this. Sometimes, man, we didn't have to drive places, be somewhere, and we don't get a dime.
Right.
You
That's
know,
right.
and I've had that happen. We didn't also have people we didn't put our heart in, and they won't pay.
That's right.
And unfortunately, I got divorced. I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but you understand what I'm saying. Like I had to learn after I did that. From that perspective, I was selfish because all I thought about was mine. But I was still there for my kids. Like I was there, but it was just certain times, you know what I'm saying? But now, me and their mom in a good place. And now I have somebody that, somebody like I said, after this time, I'm gonna figure it out when I do find another person that they understand and that they understand and
For
God
sure.
brought me some God brought me Rochelle, and she's been able to like keep me, grounded in what I'm doing now. But
Yeah.
you I've drove places, didn't get paid. I've flew places, I didn't get paid. I've done things, and it didn't pan out from the money standpoint. And
Right.
I try to tell trainers this too. Don't look at it as money. Like if I ain't doing this, if I don't get paid, I ain't doing it. You don't know that could be a blessing.
That's
You
right.
just know because we in on money, like it's got to be this, this, this. And I just felt like God, a lot of the things I didn't get paid for or I had to pay for myself, I flew to LA just on my own money and didn't get paid nothing.
Right.
But I learned this too. I had to serve first.
Mm. That's powerful.
And I think that's what young trainers got to understand. You got to serve first. Like one of my mentors is John Beckett. That's the assistant coach from the Denver Nuggets. One summer at Georgia Tech, I didn't know anything about training NBA players. And he used to train all the Denver Nuggets players back then at
Okay.
Georgia Tech in the morning. And he was with another fellow trainer, D Towns, that a lot of people don't talk about, but he's one of the best trainers in them too. And D used to help him. And then one day I sat in there and with my players and they looked at the workout and they was like, man, this all they do, Rob? Like you cold, like Rob, you just, what I'm saying? But I didn't think that way. I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to
Yeah.
train NBA guy. Like I want
Yeah.
to. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And I literally asked him, man, because I even had a name then. I went and asked him. I said, "Excuse me, sir. Do you mind if I come in the morning just to rebound for you, just to pass the ball, just to? I just want to learn." I don't have ego, sir. I just want to learn. He was like, sure, you can come every day. Corey, I was there every day. Every day. I went there every day. And him and D used to tell me, like, bro, you're going to get there, bro. I'm telling you, you're going to get there. And I just wanted to serve. And that's why I try to tell young trainers, like, serve first. We can't always be the head. Like, don't go into a workout with another trainer, somebody invites you, and you just say, well, if I ain't doing this, I'm leaving. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes it's not about you. Because what you don't understand is people know people. And people can help you, and they see if you're a server, they'll help you. So, like, even with me and you, like us working together this summer, we served each other.
that's right.
If one person didn't have a workout and the other one came, what would we say? You need me rebound? You need me to pass the ball? You need me like we didn't impede on them, but we just helped each other. And I think another thing too, and this is and listen, this is not, I love every race and color. I just think us as African American trainers is too much of a competition.
That's right. Speak on it, bro. That's 100.
We
That's
we
100.
we we are we we don't know how much power we have because just to be honest, most of the kids that playing are our color.
That's right. Over 75%.
Over 75%. A lot of these guys, like the Drew Halens, like great trainer, like Jordan Lawley,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't care what you say about Michael Lancaster and this grip con. You can say you ain't gotta like none of the stuff that they do. But one thing I learned about these guys, the Chris Brickleys and these dudes, some of these dudes know each other and they help each other out.
That's right. They'll work together.
And they make a network.
That's right.
But just this, just being in Atlanta, it's a lot of us. I personally believe this. Atlanta has some of the best skill developers in the world.
I agree.
In
I
the
agree.
world.
I agree. Dorian Lee. There's so many of us out here.
Dorian Lee, D Towns, you, Key, Swain, Nick, what's my guy out at B3? He trained Devin Vassell and all that. If I forget, I forgot his name, like straight
Nick
off top.
Stapleton.
Nick, I said Nick.
Yeah.
I give
B. But we also separated. We all on islands.
Bro, like
we all on plateaus.
If I missed you, bro, like y'all know I love each and every trainer. Like it's no beef, no animosity. Kevin McConnell, it's just so many, man. It's so many.
Yep.
It's a lot of us, and we've all developed guys. We have like Justin Holland, like Justin had Ant, like what people don't understand. If you just look now at the landscape of basketball, like some of the top picks in the draft are coming from here. Here. Why is overtime here? It's talent.
Because they know what's up.
They know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's so many of us, but we're so divided. Like I get questions like, do you talk to this dude? Do you know this dude? I'm like, yeah, I don't, I'm like it's if we all just say, you know what, we're gonna do this together, it could just change the whole world. So I just think us as African American trainers, we need to do a better job of collaborating with each other and doing things for each other instead of us getting so territorial when it comes.
Man.
Because you might teach something one way, I might teach it another. It's not, and me and you can attest to this. It's very combative, competitive. When me and you were in the gym together, it was no competition.
That's right.
None. I wasn't trying to show you, hey, I'm better than you. You weren't trying to show me you was better because we both learned a lot from each other.
That's right.
And I think that's what we can do. Like, I think we need to have like a symposium where we all get up and talk, like, and just say like, this is what, because our future, our kids, because training is not just basketball, man. It's the relationships we build with these kids. Like it doesn't matter if I'm upset with somebody. I still love each and every one of the guys that have helped me, the ones that I've trained. You know, we can have disagreements, and that's just like brothers. We disagree, but at the
Facts.
same time, I have a relationship with each and every one of them because at the end of the day, the basketball is gonna stop. It's gonna stop bouncing.
That's right.
Like kids know if they need me, like, hey, Coach Rob, can I talk to you? Can you help me with something? Like I'm gonna help because at the end of the day, it's about the relationship. It's not just the basketball. And I think that's what a lot of people take advantage. They're worried about, okay, this is how many NBA players I got. This is how many high level. Like, what are you doing outside of that? Like when they going through, do you call? Do you talk to them? Do like when they call you and ask you about life stuff? Because this is
Yep.
about life. This ain't about just basketball. And I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing. But for young trainers, man, just know it comes with a price. But I know this: if you trust God and you continue to work, it'll manifest itself. Because I've met so many people and like down this road, and I'm still meeting people to this day.
That's right.
And I think we both can attest that we both are not where we want to be just yet, but it's gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen on our time.
That's right.
But we still gotta make an impact, and that's why I try to tell trainers, man, make an impact first. And once you make an impact, to me, bro, these guys that I've trained and went to the NBA, like JD and Ashton, Chuma, and all these guys that, because it's more valuable when you knew them from when they were younger, not the dudes
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah. That was already good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Reggie. I love MJ. I ain't touched them till later on in their career. But
Right.
like
Right.
Ashtons and the JDs and the Chumas and people like that, that's more fulfilling. But that ain't even the most fulfilling thing to me. The most fulfilling thing are the ones that don't make it,
Yep.
but they become
Good people.
good people. Like Ricky. Ricky played D2 basketball, and that was it. Now he's married. He has his first child. He brought his child. He brings his little boy so I can see him. Because I remember his dad when I trained him when he was in the 7th grade. Or Micah. He's a general manager working at H&M who's about to start, he has his own branding. And then Austin, now he got into coaching. So them stories are more satisfying to me than seeing the dudes going to the league
Right.
because I always have a connection with them. Like just to see them becoming, they're married now,
Right.
they have kids now, and now I'm starting to see like I'm getting old, but I've made an impact on their lives outside of that. So I think the biggest thing is, man, just understand that. Listen to your people too, man, when you're going through this. Cause as a trainer, then I didn't listen. I was just like, yo, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be this way, or that's how it's gonna be.
Mm.
And I didn't listen. But thank God, like, my daughter's 14 now. She's a good softball player, volleyball player. Now my baby girl 9, so she finna play basketball. So I'll make sure she's straight. But I mean, just make sure you listen to your people and you pray about everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pray about where God wants you to go, how God wants you to lead. That's why I got led to the skills factory. This past year, I appreciate Josh and Jeremiah for giving me the opportunity because who would have known I would have met you there?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we did some good work this summer, and who known I would have met so many different people. And like, it's, we got to do something special, bro. Like, you remember this? We went to Chicago, did pro day, and
Special.
I got emotional.
Yeah.
Because I know, I lost my mom 12 years ago. So just being around y'all guys, man, and just realizing who would have thought a couple years ago.
Mm.
Somebody that taught me to get. I went to go get a haircut that taught me to do this. That we are here in front of all 30 NBA,
All 30 teams.
30 teams, and we're out here like working guys out in front of them so they can showcase their skills for an hour. And we've seen all these people, like the people that we grew up watching, that we seeing is like man, we right here. Like
Yes, sir.
God is showing the door, like we right there on that step. So for the ones that come after us, be a server, bro. Like
That's right.
don't always lead, because sometimes to lead you gotta follow.
That's right.
You gotta follow. So that's the biggest thing that I want you guys, everybody to learn. I still follow to this day. It don't matter if I'm Coach Rob or whatever. I'm a serve. If you
Yes,
need
sir.
me to do whatever, if that's gonna help me get to where I gotta go, I bet I do it. And then when it's my turn in charge, guess what? I'm gonna help the next person.
That's right.
Because we not gonna be in this game all our lives either.
No, sir. I know I ain't.
We can't. Hey man, hey, we gonna give it to somebody else and say, hey
Fact.
man, you run with it. So
That's
just
right.
learn how to listen to your people and serve and pray about everything, and you should be fine.
He just broke it all the way down, y'all. He just broke it all the way. Man, that was powerful, eloquent, beautifully put, bro, for real. So tell me real quick, what's next for you? Like, what are some things that you are aspiring to do? What can we expect from you?
The next thing is, man, just continuing that journey and getting in the NBA, being with an organization as a you know coach, player development.
Yes,
Not
sir.
just I don't want it to be bland, like you just say player development coach. Now I've got to the point where I understand, different nuances in the game. So now I can actually coach it. And,
Hmm.
being player development, like that's my gift. But now I can also coach as well. So getting on the NBA, getting on the NBA staff very soon, which I know it'll happen in due time when it comes. But until then, man, just continuing to help the next generation,
That's right.
and to churn out, good players, continue to turn out good people.
That's right.
And continue like to see my daughters continue to grow up and
Yes, sir.
be great women in
Yes, sir.
society. Continue to just live life, man. Because tomorrow's not promised. So.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Powerful. Powerful. Well, we definitely in your corner. We supporting you, all the way. And I know everything that you're working for is not a matter of if, but just when. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, how can the people follow you? How can they keep track of what's going on in your world and just learn from you?
So working on getting my website up now.
Okay.
But everybody, if you want to follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Coach underscore Rob 10. So Coach underscore Rob 10. Just I'm starting now to post a little bit more. I ain't the biggest. I know people like, man, you got all these followers and things, but I ain't the biggest. My girl got on me the other day, like, man, you ain't posted since October. So, the other day posted something. So
Shout
I'm
out to her, man.
gonna try to post more often.
Good,
Um,
good,
so
good.
those,
People need it.
those, yeah, so those if you want to connect with me on there, and I mean, just as I said, man, if it's a trainer out there, player, and you got any questions, man, or just want to ask me anything, you can DM me. Because I know how it is, man. Like when I was coming up, trying to reach out to certain people, and people didn't answer you because you didn't have a certain stature,
Right,
or you blue check, or you ain't had nothing. And
right.
you know, I try to always, I don't care who it is, if I got time, I try to answer. I mean, you can call me, just DM me, like just so I can help. Cause I want to be somebody that helps the next generation, because it's gonna be needed.
For sure. Of
Um,
course.
Yeah, for somebody.
It's always gonna be that need, man.
Yeah, so somebody did it for me, so I want to do it for somebody else. So
So make sure y'all go out, follow him, Instagram, Twitter. Be on the lookout for more developments. His site's coming soon, like he said. Rob, I just want to take the time first off to thank you, my brother, just even for accepting my invitation to hop on this platform. But I definitely want to give you your flowers. You know, like you said, it's so many of us out here, but I'm thankful that you and I had a chance to connect, to do some awesome work together this summer, and just to get to know each other, just to be able to chop it up and then not be like, oh yeah, I heard of him or yeah, I seen this
uh,
stuff. But now, like, now that's a real brother of mine now, somebody that I can say, like, as a man, I respect him. I know what he stands for. You know what I mean? You know me, I'm gonna always ask you about your family, your
no,
girl,
no,
because I
uh,
love the fact that
you,
you're a father. You know what I mean? You're a
uh,
real father. So
yeah,
respect.
you gonna always do that. Like, but I appreciate it, man. Like just you know, just like we said, we appreciate TSL giving two
For sure.
African guys the opportunity to, change the game. Like just continue to keep passing it along. But like you were good for me, man, for real. Like, just learning different things from you and us being in that avenue. So I appreciate you even when you told me, like just telling me certain things. So I appreciate you. So,
All love.
but but we still got work to do though.
That's right. That's right. We about to be right back at it. Time flies. Like it feel like we
Uh,
just finished pre-draft. Now we about to be starting a whole another process.
Yeah, it do. So I'm taking this time because it was a good.
Yeah, bro. Bro, legs
so
be broke
so
down.
listen, I'm enjoying this right now because
Yeah, you got to.
I already.
My legs was weak, my feet was hurting. You
Hey
know what I'm
man, listen.
saying?
I know over days we didn't come in and even speak. We just looked at each other like, "What's up, man?
Yeah, you already know. You already
Ready?"
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
yeah. Let's go ahead and do this now. Yep.
Oh man, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is my man, Coach Rob, Corey Harris, here with the transition, a real resource for coaches. Look out for some updates on more interviews, one-on-ones like this that are coming up. I'm trying to bring y'all the best minds in the game, people with authenticity, integrity, and who have just stood the test of time. So if you would like to see anyone that maybe I haven't brought to this platform, drop a comment, drop a name, shoot me a message, but make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your peoples. Much love to y'all, man. God bless. We out.